that Reuben wasn't there. He came back, and that Joseph was sold into slavery.
That's so crazy. I mean, it hops forward a little bit into 38.
Mm-hmm.
But the son that was killed by God, like taken by God. We weren't told what he did either.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a piece that I felt like was missing that I thought could have been critical to the story.
Right.
God just took his life. Why? Because we know why Onan's life was taken.
Yeah,
but we don't know
indication
why Er's life was taken. And it just seems like there's like little holes that I guess you can look at it two ways. Like maybe it wasn't that pertinent to get across the story that needed to be told, but the other perspective is like maybe we just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I was thinking about that this morning. Like that seems like pretty big.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Genesis 43.
Yeah.
I put Judah's coming out party.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
I don't know. I don't really like that anymore.
What you mean?
I was gonna say step up, but then
okay.
Let me think of something
pretty similar.
Better.
That's pretty much what I like. Was stepping up to the plate.
Okay. Yeah. So we all pretty much thinking the same way for Judah.
For Judah.
Yeah. This is his. He's. I put one sentence. He steps up to lead the brothers.
I'm gonna say turn up. I'm changing my word. Turn up. Turn up.
But
there's a lot of turn ups in here.
Really?
Yes, because Judah had to turn up on his dad. Because turn up can be used in different ways.
Okay, so and that's what I'm missing. Help me out.
Yes.
Generationally.
He had to turn up on his dad because his dad tried to just act like we could just go get food. And he's like, bro, I already told you. Relax. We can't go unless you're about to send your son with us.
So when I hear turn up, I have to recognize it in context.
Yes.
Where turn up can be like it's party time.
Yeah.
But turn up can also mean like it's go time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that makes sense then. I get it.
It's a lot of turning up in here. And then of course at the party they turned up.
they turned up. No, they didn't have to turn up.
Yeah.
They turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joseph was doing some turned up stuff too. Because Joseph put them in order and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. What's happening here?
How did he know?
Like, how did you put us in order like this? Like, it was just a lot of, and then he was doing things for Benjamin that was like, my baby brother.
Mm-hmm.
On the low,
the huge servant.
I'm gonna make sure that you are good.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's a lot of turning up.
It's a lot of turn up. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that.
That's pretty much what I had too. I was like, the big thing for me, especially because of how we see Jacob talk about Judah later, like and give him the pretty much like you're up here. And, you know, I understand that a little bit more, seeing how much he really did step up to lead, to be that leader, and having to talk to his father, because I was getting so frustrated with Jacob. Like, you just don't understand. Like, they have no other choice. You want food, don't you? If you want food, we take them, or we won't have grain. And it was the big deal too. I think we mentioned that he had to realize that their lives would be in jeopardy, not just Benjamin, everybody. Do you want us all to die?
Right.
We all have to go. We gotta get food so we all can live.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you said, even Benji.
Yeah, that's your new favorite.
Your new favorite.
You gotta protect us all.
All right. So Genesis 44.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, freestyler?
Okay. What do I have? You know that you know that old, I think it was a Vine. Did you do Vines?
I did.
Okay. It was was it a Vine? I don't know if it was before that or after that. But there was this they used to sing this song asking all them questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And they be like, accusing? like that's this. Like, why are you asking all these questions and accusing?
Oh my goodness.
The brothers, though. I should probably save
That's
that for
funny.
the other one, because these people.
That's funny.
But yeah, this time they were like, hold up.
Right.
Why are you accusing us?
Wait a second.
Didn't we bring your money back?
Exactly.
Like, come on,
What
man.
happened? I thought we were cool. We turned up last night.
Right.
What happened?
What's going on?
Real
You
confident.
coming out at me like that?
Yeah. So yeah, accusing.
Okay. All right. What you got, Jasmine?
I don't know, because for this one, my focus was him, and I didn't think of this until I reread that he was trying to keep Benjamin with him by any means necessary. Joseph, because I didn't think of the fact. I was like, why is he doing this? You put your cup in Benjamin's bag. You gave them their money again. Now they're freaking out, but again, they think that, we're being punished again. The Lord is punishing us. It's all that guilt. The guilt is eating them alive. But I didn't, because my biggest thing was like, if that's his mom's son, right? Like that's his little brother. He's very, like, obviously we saw before, he was giving him like the most food and like showing like, hey, like I want to make sure my brother is good. Why would he do that? Because I think I was just looking at kind of surface level. But then I realized, like, because he said the one who stole will come back, the rest of you guys, like, it's fine, like, whatever.
Right.
It would have Benjamin come back to be with Joseph, and that's really what he wanted. So I'm like, okay, got it. So Joseph is smarter than the average bear. Like, you know. So that's kind of what my focus was when I reread it. Like, okay, I understand how these pieces are fitting together. Now, the fact that, so I think, like, he gave them back their money, and they had the money from the first time. So, like, they had more than what they were supposed to have again.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, everybody was tripping. Like, look, they dropped all their bags. Like, hey, search them. we didn't do this. We bought it back. Like, we can be trusted. We promise. And then once again, like, he's kind of like, I looked at it like a scare tactic for them, not for Benjamin per se, but for the rest of the brothers, which still had me confused about Joseph's character. Because I'm like, are we turning the page a little bit of how he's supposed to be acting? Because this just doesn't seem like him. I kind of get the part with Benjamin, like, just wanting him to be there, but I don't understand why he was still mentally playing with his brothers. That just was still perplexing me.
Yeah. I put two things. I couldn't narrow it down. I put testing genius, and Judah solidifies his change.
Oh, yeah.
Because to your point, I think this is when I finally realized that Joseph is next level evil genius superpower.
Yes, for sure. Heavy on genius.
Because either way this goes down, if his brothers don't come back and they're like, hey, Benji, you stole it, you do the time, Benjamin's with Joseph. If his brothers do come back, as we see with Judah stepping up, then he's reconciled himself with his brothers potentially, right?
Right.
So that's when I was like, there's a method to the madness, and I was just too short-sighted to see it.
And I feel like if they did not come back, right, he would have still had them locked up. I feel like this was the test to be like, you know what? Throw them in jail. I think he would throw them in jail. I don't think he would have let them go.
You don't think so? He told them that he would let them go, though.
I don't think he would have really let them go. I feel like he was testing them, or he would have caught them the next time they come, because he still got to feed his daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like eventually he would have got them people. If they turned on Benjamin, he would have been big mad.
This is what I think they would have done, is he would have said, all right, I'm keeping Benjamin. If you come back, I need to see your dad.
Yeah. That's what, something like that.
Okay. All right. Chapter 45. What'd you put, Jasmine?
Maybe it's more like a phrase. Like, I was very, I don't know. I feel like it's like happy tears, crying happy tears.
Crying happy tears?
He's still crying again.
He's still
but
weeping.
he's weeping for, like, it's like on a better
with
terms.
Joy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I put, I see dead people.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. Reunion, family. I feel like this chapter was just like family, like,
Mm-hmm.
Family reunion.
but sad though a little bit.
A little. Maybe because of wasted time. But I think beyond that, I mean, because even we talked about it in the episode, right? We wonder how long they were there talking after
Mm-hmm.
Joseph finally revealed himself to him.
Yeah. I just think about he was crying and the whole breakdown, like the way that the breakdown sounded and the way they described it and the way others heard it just seemed like this is more than like happy tears. It's like
you think it was so
it was like gut wrenching, like I've been through so much and I just need to hug my family. And and I think he's happy, but he's also he probably is remembering everything. Like from the time they even came back, he cried, and the whole journey to me seems like a lot, and all of that coming up in this.
Okay. So let me ask this though. So the other times that Joseph wept, right? Because he weeps when they remember. I'm not going to get all of these right. Well, the one that I remember the most is that he has to remove himself and he weeps after the brothers talk about hearing him cry from the pit, right? And them expressing their remorse. So that's not enough crying to get to this point to not carry that forward anymore.
I don't think so
either.
No?
I don't think so. I think it's very hard to let some of these things go. Like when you think about those situations, to me, it's always going to trigger, at least for a while, because at this point he's just revealing himself to them, but it doesn't clear up everything that's happened yet.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time, actually, I don't even think, because even by when he met his dad again, did he not cry again?
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotion involved here. So
it was just hard for me to think of them not being happy tears with the reunion. But I can see what you're saying. There's still the scars and the emotions that are tied up with everything that seeing them back represents, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong. I definitely think that they were in the moment, maybe like they were happy tears. But I think I can, based on the events surrounding what allowed this to happen, I can see it being. It's like if, let's say, like your cat or your dog dies, but you're able to get like the dog you originally really wanted. Like, I'm so happy I have the dog I really wanted, but
that is hilarious.
Like that's the best way I can think about. Like, you get what you want, right? You're super happy because you have what you really want and you love it so much. So it's like your whole heart is in that, but like you just lost your dog. You know, that's not the best.
That's a hard one.
Sorry.
It's like. Look, the old nasty dog you ain't want, but you care for and really like, that dog is gone. But now that gives you the opportunity to get the real dog that you want.
It's like you cry. It's like you're so happy, but there's also like really sad events that led to this happy moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's like when people do memorials and they're saying all the happy times, and you'll hear somebody wailing, and if you ask them, they'll be like, I just remember this and I love this about this person so much. Like, just thinking about, I feel like it's not separated yet.
Okay.
Just not yet.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we get there to where it is, though.
Okay. All right. No, I hear what you all are saying, and that makes sense. That makes sense.
Another thing I have here is like he starts caring for his family. We start seeing him, but not to be confused with like oldest son responsibility caring for his family, because we talked through that in the last episode, because that really has me also changing my perspective. But I was like, he's lifting the heavy load. It's like it's beginning where he's like, I think everyone's going away now to get their families, and they're coming back. And he loaded them up to have didn't he load them up with stuff? Was that this one?
With to go get their dad.
Yeah. Back on their journey. So like I can imagine Joseph like anticipating like, yes, I get to see my dad, you know, and like he's kind of rectified with his brothers, even though the guilt's still there for them. But it's like like another turn on the familial front. Like things are starting to come back to where they need to be now. Again, like I don't know how for the brothers. Again, they are still covered in that guilt. So like, I still don't know how much of a happy experience this is. Maybe temporarily because we do see later they're like, okay, is he prepping us for like something else is supposed to happen? Or like what's going on? Yeah, like he's gonna jump up behind the curtain. But it seemed to just be like a nice happy family reunion for the most part. I definitely do think that he probably is remembering the sad stuff too though. Like it sucks that it took this long or did all this stuff happen to get here, but I definitely think the chapter itself is just peppered with so many positive events that could just help Joseph get back to like a better space when it comes to his family.
Yeah.
I just also never experienced a happy cry that's loud. Like people cry happy tears like this. like slow. like you don't cry happy tears from the gut. I've never experienced it. I don't know if you've seen it, let me know.
I think I've done it. I think I've done it maybe once or twice. Like can't breathe crying.
Happy.
Like positive, yes.
Okay.
Like I've had maybe once or twice. Like this is so, but I blubber cry all the time. So I mean, it's not. There's really no differentiation between my happy cries and my sad cries. They look like the same. But yeah, I think it's just like when you're overcome with the emotion, you just. But I definitely will say when I do cry happy tears, I'm also thinking about what got me here.
Okay.
Like this was like a long, hard road, but we here, right? Like that's the kind of cry it is.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's a good point. I wanted to touch back on Genesis 43 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, 44. Because we talked a lot about Joseph, the evil genius, testing, but I don't think it would be fair for us not to touch on seeing the complete turn of Judah from where we met him in chapter 38 until we see his actions in Genesis 44.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like a really big 180 where Judah in 38 seemed really self-consumed about himself, but here in 44 he's willing to give up his life in essence for his brothers. Yeah. So I would feel remiss if we didn't touch on that at least a little bit.
And almost like even in his consumption, I think at the end is when this change was ignited. Like with Tamar, recognizing, saying like she's more righteous than he is, like recognizing that he needs to maybe be a better person was like the catalyst. Yeah. I don't know like all the other background stuff that happens in the midst, like right before this, but like from 39 or 38 to 44. But I don't see anywhere else where we could have saw that he did anything that led to this moment. It just seemed like a coin flip.
Yeah. And again, when we went through 38 and we didn't touch on it then, we were asking, what are the ties? Why is this here? Because it seems so out of place. I'm going with Joseph and introducing him. I'm talking about Joseph going to Egypt, but instead of me going to Egypt and following Joseph, I'm going to turn and look at Judah. Why? And I think here is why we see why. And then later on, when we get to the later chapters, we'll see why again. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. 46.
I cried.
You put what?
I could have cried.
Oh, you could have cried. I thought you said you put cried. I was about to say.
Yeah, we'll use that because seriously, when he reunited with his dad, so yeah, more tears of joy on my behalf.
I put Father's Day.
Oh, cute. That's good. That is good. Oh man, it was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like. Imagine like the opposite of melancholy. I don't know what that word is, but I was overjoyed for them.
Yeah.
Especially because he got to the pain that we witnessed in Jacob when he knew that his son was dead. Which again, I thought when we talked about, did the brothers really think he was dead? And that Joseph clearly thought he was dead because they brought back his coat covered in blood. But witnessing his pain, losing his son, and then Joseph's pain with his brothers, and now having this happy reunion was like a deep exhale. At least for me, seeing how everything came together. So it just was good for me.
It was. That was a good scene. Finally getting the whole clan back together.
Yeah.
Joseph, working with Pharaoh to get them into Goshen. Right. The provision that's being made for them. We had to go through and figure out where the number 70 came from.
Oh yeah, because all the sons and the wives and the
And Moyo had to take me back to school and say, "No, they didn't include this person, but they included that person." So yeah, that was a good chapter. A good chapter.
We were introduced. We got all the names of which I liked the family history, like the family line.
Did you like the genealogies?
I did actually. I looked it up. I looked up like the tree, so I could see where things fell because it's confusing. It's so many of them. I didn't think even in that episode we didn't have a whole lot to say because we just got a whole lot of lineage, But it was nice to see, like, specifically, I think, and you sent the thing in the group chat, like whose sons were who, and like who was whose mom, like the sons of Rachel, the sons of Dan, and all that kind of stuff. Like that was good to know for me because I don't know a whole lot about the history. So that I enjoyed that for that purpose.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
My word would be journey mercies.
Journey mercies. Why do you say that?
Because they had to travel, the whole clan, back to Egypt, and Jacob stopped to make that sacrifice.
He did, didn't he?
And to just get confirmation that God is going with them.
Yeah, that's
it's like
one.
journey mercies. Like that's people say that to people when they're gonna travel. Yeah. And they finally get there. Joseph preps his family of what to say to Pharaoh. We had a lot of open questions in that episode, surprisingly. And I don't think we have answers still yet on them. So, is Goshen a place? What else did we ask? It was like...
So, the Goshen one, just to touch on that real quick. I don't know if we'll ever be able to answer that one.
Yeah.
That's more of an archaeology. I'm not going to dig in Egypt. So the people that do the digging are going to have to come back and be like, yeah, this is where it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And we talked about why there was only 2 women.
Yeah.
And I think her name was like Sarah.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, who is she?
Yeah.
And I tried to find it. And I was like, I can't find nothing about this anywhere. I can't find anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We also forgot to put our light music while you read all the names.
I was going to do that, but
and I think that was one of the first episodes where we started speaking about Judah as if he was the second son.
Okay.
And so we corrected it later.
Yeah.
But just to say again, like, he's not the second son. We
No.
see the line here.
Yeah. Genesis 47.
Mm-hmm.
Introductions and sojourning in Texas.
Took all the words.
Yeah, doing too much. That's another one.
Am I being extra? So this is where we see the introduction to Pharaoh, of the brothers one, and then of the patriarch, Jacob. This is where we also see that those who have come recognize that the intent is not for them to remain in Egypt. They're sojourners. They're there for a short time. And then this is also the one where Joseph saves the Egyptians.
My phrase is, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What's like in all these? In the beginning, we talk about why do you only bring 5 brothers? Like, what are we doing here? What's happening? And then he's taxing. What are we doing here? And then Jacob is like, please take me back home. I don't need to be here with y'all. Because what are we doing here?
What are we doing
No,
here?
yeah, ditto. I agree.
Oh,
I was
that
a
is
little bit
funny.
like, what? I just felt like it was like maybe just a little bit overkill. Just maybe. I don't know. Because I didn't understand why he had to tax them. But I also understand, like, I was trying to understand, like, the whole background of, like, what the taxes were for and, like, all that kind of stuff. What I did, and I saw the good and the bad. So I'm like, he's still giving them food. Like, he is providing for them, He took their livestock. Like, he took, like, their, like, everything they had. Yeah. But it's not like, in a perspective, right? It could be he's collecting everything. He's doing the work so that the masses will prosper. Not so like one or two. So like if you have like tons of cows and we have people over here with none, okay, give them all to me and I will equally distribute everything so that everything happens in moderation. So we all can continue to prosper off of this our stock. Maybe it was that. It did seem just like he was just sorry, just like a little it just was a little bit excessive on his part. And I understand why that had to happen.
Chris is like, take all their money and tax them because that's what your plan was.
It was the plan.
He did say it, so yeah.
It's not his.
Right. Maybe we should have charged them a little less since we knew this was going to last for so long.
Maybe. Maybe. But I think the point is that it costs.
Yeah. But does it cost my cattle and my land and my life?
Yeah.
But it didn't cost them their life.
Then
they became servants, but their servanthood was limited to the 15% that they had to give to Pharaoh, right?
Well,
I mean,
but I used to get 100.
You used to.
And you could have told us about this.
Somebody's got to pay for salvation.
Okay.
Somebody's got to pay. For us, now Jesus paid for it. Somebody's got to pay. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a borderline boomer. Who knows? I don't know. I get it. It seems excessive, but I look at the fact that they were coming to Joseph saying, "Do something, or you're just going to watch us die."
Yeah.
And then at the end, Joseph even says that you'll have enough for your families to eat. So I'm trying not to take everything from you and leave you destitute.
But why do they have to pay? Like, why?
What's free?
Nothing in life is free.
I know. We said that in the episode, but I just... I will never understand. Because I just feel...
The problem is there was nothing to give, right? Because we couldn't grow. I think that's where we are stuck. If they had a way to pay, of course, they've been paying. It's just that we are out. And the land isn't producing anything. Yeah. Even the cattle we have is sickly.
They're gone now, I had to give them to you for some more grain.
He said, if you don't have money, give me your livestock.
Yep.
It's like, dang.
Yeah, I get it. It can be and seems excessive, but...
I don't know. I try to think of it like he was trying to ration for the masses. So it was like there was a end goal that was positive.
But I think you added that because we didn't hear anything about him dividing those cattle back.
Yeah.
Well, so let me back up. So the way I thought about it, even though he's taking, he's giving. So if someone had, and I'm asking, if I had 20 cattle and I came to Joseph, was I obligated to give him all 20?
I don't know.
Right, so like, is he just, or he just takes all that you have and then gives you back? So, because like the way I was trying to make it reasonable in my head was that he was like taking, so that he was like these things were being taken, and let's say I'm putting these back in my stash, and then I'm giving you enough to survive. Like I'm giving you food to survive, but I cannot have you having all of this excess, and everyone has to eat.
Yeah, but I think we talked about he didn't need their stuff because his storage houses were never low.
Yeah, they were stocked.
So I don't think the cattle was going back out. It was like, all right, those are mine now. If I want to have a feast, I have, or not mine, because everything is
Pharaoh's. It was
Pharaoh's.
for Pharaoh. Was he told by Pharaoh to tax? Was he?
This is all Joseph's brilliant plan.
God, now we're going bad on the genius's plan. This is the superpower of Joseph.
I'm trying to.
Are we going back on that now?
I don't understand.
I don't know if we can. I think that this is one of those things where you can look at it from two different perspectives.
Okay.
I like the perspective that Joseph saved Egypt.
Mm.
Okay.
Without Joseph there, if he didn't have the plan to store stuff, and part of the plan was to have people buy it back from him, Egypt would have died. And we've seen that several times about this famine, both from Jacob's side and from what's in Egypt.
Okay.
So
It's
to
like,
me,
okay.
he saved Jewish folks. He saved his people by getting them into Goshen, and he saved Egyptians by not letting them be wiped off the face of the earth.
I agree with you.
But
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's just I still don't understand like why that was necessary.
yeah, I get it.
Mm.
And again, maybe the story isn't meant to have us understand. Maybe it's just to have us see what happened in this case.
Yeah.
What was going on.
Yeah.
All right. I that one is always so fun because we have such good discussion.
I know.
Definitely not my favorite chapter.
Me either.
Oh man. All right, Genesis 48.
Mm-hmm.
I put the takeover.
The takeover. I like that.
You got two freestylers.
I would say wrong order.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
This is the second time there's been a wrong order.
What was the first?
When the second
38?
When Perez was made firstborn, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can expand while you think. So I was thinking wrong order for both reasons. So because of the Ephraim and Manasseh, but also because of Joseph's special gift, like his extra land that he got on the side,
the mountainside that he fought for, that we have no record of.
Yeah.
Okay. And I put the takeover just because Jacob is like coming in and is like, I'm the dad.
Yes.
I'm taking your kids. I'll give you their children, but this is what's going to happen here. This is how we going to do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I found that just so weird, but I get it now after we like a couple of episodes, because that didn't Joseph take his grandchildren? He adopted his grandchildren or something like that.
Yeah, Jacob took Manasseh and Ephraim.
What happened to the Manasseh's?
Yeah, Joseph took one of those as his own.
Yeah.
One of his. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I didn't understand why that needed to happen, but I get the inheritance had to be divvied out, and someone had to get it, right? Because now he doesn't have any sons. Joseph wouldn't have had, because Jacob adopted. Yeah.
And I think that's why also I put the takeover, because not only did he take over, not only did Jacob take over Joseph's sons, right, and then did the takeover for Joseph on his behalf for his new sons, but he also took over Reuben's birthright and gave it to them. The double portion that the firstborn is supposed to receive didn't go to Reuben. He gave it to Manasseh and Ephraim. And then also the takeover to what you alluded to, the switch, when he switched his hands on top of their head and made the younger Ephraim the greater in essence.
And when we talked about like Joseph's like, he don't know what he's doing. Like, he's just old. Like, you wrong son. He's like, no, I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Which That's a theme. Like, so I'm wondering like why, especially I was really confused with Perez and what's his name? His brother's name?
Zera, I think
Zera?
it is. Yeah.
Like why they were switched and now here these brothers were switched. Did we talk? I think we talked about this one though.
Esau and Jacob were switched.
Yeah. So like, what is this?
This is God
about?
doing God things.
Yeah, I think we talked about like how even when Jesus came, he was shaking things up. Like whatever you thought was normal or whatever you thought had to be done a certain way, actually I'm going to do it differently because it's not about your traditions and these, certain laws that you had before. Through Christ, like anything can be possible type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So I think it's just like shaking things up. I think I talked about The Chosen and how they were saying like in that series they bring up a lot of the occasions where in the Bible God is just shaking things up and he's making the religious people very upset because they're like, what? This is not how we do things.
Right.
And he's like, it's not about you.
Right. Right. Yeah. So yep, I agree. I completely agree.
And this is also when Joseph is it said that Israel and Joseph were put together. Like he was spoken of the same with two different names, and I think that's when we started like talking about
Israel
more.
And Jacob.
Yeah, Israel and Jacob. When we started talking about more that he's being called by both names and like why.
Yep.
Specifically, and it's like I said, there's so many commentaries that will tell you so many different things, but the one I don't know if there's anything that's like hard fact on that. Did we come to that? Because I still was a little bit up in the air after reading my last commentary.
Yeah. No, I don't know of why. I think it's good to try and note and just realize it that there is this play happening. But anyway, I don't know why. Commentaries say a lot of things. I think I brought up the Elohist and the Jehoist and the priestly, writing and how people say they're put together. I know that God changed his name, but then right after God changed his name, it went back to Scripture goes back to calling him Jacob.
Yeah.
When I was like, maybe the Lord named him Israel, call him Israel. But yeah, I don't know why. I think you have to take each case as its own thing.
Yeah.
Is this the one where we talked about the right hand versus the left hand as well?
Yeah, we did.
So, do you want to talk about the story that you have?
Sure.
About that?
Yeah, so I think it's still valid. We said that, a lot of cultures, the left hand is what you use to do, like wipe your butt, all that kind of thing. So it's considered dirty.
Right.
But like a week after we had that recording, I hosted a Shakiri meeting in my house. And my dad does like a cultural corner. And that particular day, he just randomly decided to talk about the left hand. Yeah. And so he's like, he basically said that traditionally what they do, because they don't like put you in a coffin and lower you down like they do here. Mm-hmm. Two people take the body and they go into the pit with the person and they put the body down. The wife's side or the husband, the mother's side and the father's side stand on opposite sides of the body, one at the head, one at the feet. Mm-hmm. And as they're doing all of their rituals, they only use their left hand. So they'll pour out drinks like on the sides of the body. So I'm pouring it this way. This person's pouring it this way. They're serving food to like, it's, I don't necessarily know if it's to like gods or like to what it is, but it's whatever their rituals are for the dead.
Wow.
And so he's like, you do it all with your left hand. And so when you do something to somebody with your left hand, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not dead. Don't reach out your left hand towards me. So that's why they get so offended by it. He's like, there's no real law or rule that says you can't use your left hand, but people will be very offended because that's just the mindset. Like, no, I'm not dead. It's like you're wishing them dead by doing that.
Okay. So that's wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he put his right hand on Ephraim.
Right.
And his left on
Manasseh. Yes.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just to talk, left hand versus right hand thing.
Yeah.
In this case, he wasn't calling either of them dead, but that's just
Yeah.
an illustration
It's just
as
how-
to left hand versus right
Yeah.
hand in
Exactly,
different
And it's not
cultures.
like you can't use both of your hands. Like if I'm handing you something like this, I don't have to be like, wait a minute. Like you can use both hands, but I can't do this. Like I can't reach out with my left hand to you only.
You know what? It wouldn't bother me at all because I don't know whether it's your left hand or your right.
Right.
Oh no, they know real quick, and maybe that's why I know
I
my
get in
left so
trouble.
easily. Now that you're, maybe it's my trauma.
Maybe.
It's my trauma that makes me know my left and right because
Oh, gosh.
you'll get popped so quick because of that, and it was just like, bro,
This is a
I'm
good thing.
sorry. Like I'm a child. Do I know my left and right? You should. It don't matter if you 2 or 10. Like everybody will get it. So from a young age, you're learning. That's the wrong hand.
Wow.
I mean, I can't imagine shaking someone's hand with my left anyway.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
I always shake
But-
with my right.
Sometimes I do reach out if I've got something in my right hand or I'm, hey, nice to meet you.
Or even
My
handing them
DeSantis.
something. Somebody might say, "Oh, get me some water," and you just go, and they'll be like,
Oh, see.
"Have you lost your mind?"
What's
Like,
wrong with you?
I'd been constantly.
I would say I didn't
popped.
cut my hands because I would forget.
I
I'm
would
like,
forget every time.
no, I think you wouldn't. I think that's why I wouldn't forget because I got in trouble a lot for it. So
Oh,
now I
wow.
can't forget.
Right.
I gotten enough smacks and like yelling at, and it was enough for me to be like, okay, I this is my right hand.
yeah.
I know my right hand.
It's like I can't. This is a life lesson. I can't forget the right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool that you get that opportunity to get those
Yeah.
cultural stories and carry over.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Was that chapter 48?
48.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the
49.
first time you said MVPs and XYZs, but then we never brought it back out.
Oh my gosh.
Why did we say that again?
Because we were saying that the people, our OGs were MVPs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
OGs were MVPs
Oh.
and XYZs. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and everybody
so
else.
good. Gotta bring
You
it
said
back.
it, but you
I
didn't know.
know.
Never
I
said it
gotta bring it
again.
back. I forgot.
Next season.
Oh yes, next
We'll have
season.
all of our stuff scripted and ready.
Yeah.
For
next
the things
season.
we gotta hit, and we are generational script. We gonna have that down pat, and we gonna have the MVPs, XYZs, the what are you? Latchkey one, the resident millennial, the micro. We gonna have it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Be on the lookout.
This is gonna be interesting. I don't like order, so
You know,
you're gonna drag me along.
at least
Be
for
like,
those
write
little
it down.
pieces, just the
Yeah,
little
just those
pieces.
And be like, no, it's not organic.
It's the signatures. I like when they. First, I also like it because I know when to cut off the video.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Like when the people be like, and da 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 da, like they say their little rap at the end, and it's
Right.
always the same words
Yeah,
every
you know,
time.
It's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Even in the beginning, I know. Okay, I can probably fast forward about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because it's always the same.
But you do.
I know you don't want people to fast forward, but the people who come all the time consistently, they can fast forward.
They
Let
don't
them.
know. Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
They don't need the intro.
If it's the same thing over
It's the
and
same
over.
intro. Save them 30 seconds of their life.
That's true.
15
That's
if you listen on double speed.
Yeah, I've started doing that, by the way.
Me too.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That's why
Well-
how I watched all these episodes.
Not double speed. I do 1.5. I'm not ready for double speed yet.
Your ears will get accustomed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting close to being ready for,
Yeah.
for two.
It's actually great.
All right, Genesis 49.
Lessons on blessings.
I put Israel's finale, and I put Israel, not Jacob.
Maybe you should have said
did
Jacob's
that on-
finale though. Because Israel is just starting.
Oh, right. The
We
start
talked
is,
about how this was the first time we called them
the tribes.
yeah, like Israel, the tribe of Israel. These are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Was that 49 or 50?
I thought it was 49.
I thought it was 49 because that's when he does all of his
Yeah, it says,
predictions.
this is one of the tribes of Israel. That's in 49.
Okay. So yeah, I want to use Israel if they're finally referred to as the
But you're
tribe of
saying
Israel.
finale.
Israel's finale.
Israel, Jacob's finale. Israel is getting ready to
start.
Die.
I guess it's.
I see.
I get what you're saying, but to me, Israel is really just starting because we were flip flopping his name. Jacob is about to die, and Israel is truly going to begin.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that too. I thought it was more flair with
Then you just kill everybody. Like Israel is gone. It's over.
And then, but it's funny because what I have after it is Jacob blesses and Jacob dies. So maybe Jacob would have been better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I put. That's what I put.
I have the true blessing.
The true blessing.
And I think they all were blessings. I think we talked about that versus curses. You know? I
Yeah.
think they were all blessings. Even though they don't seem like it.
I would say either prophecy or predictions.
Mhm.
Like, just take blessing out of this. Because some of these people, I don't know if they were blessed.
He does say that I'm going to tell you all that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we know that this is forward looking, almost like a prophet.
Yeah.
But some of them do include blessings.
Yeah.
You think of, I think Judah has a blessing in terms of his wealth.
Yeah.
Joseph definitely has a blessing because even the word blesses in Joseph's blessing.
Benjamin got a blessing.
Benjamin, the ravenous wolf.
Let's see.
The one who's strong like a donkey.
I feel like that, like, blessings that just weren't explicit, but, like, we know that Simeon and Levi. Well, I don't know. Again, I think they were all blessings. And I think I said it in the episode, and I stand on it. I think some things that happen that seem like they're negatives are blessed, like, are positives in long term.
It could be.
Like, in the grand
blessing
scheme
in disguise.
Yes,
Type of thing.
exactly.
What would be interesting is to look at each of these tribes and go through the history books in the Old Testament.
Mm.
You know, the Joshua and the Chronicles and the Kings, and see how each of them stacked up.
Because when I was
That's a
looking,
lot of work, though.
It is. Because when I was looking at I was looking at a little bit of history when we read through this chapter because I didn't understand all of it, but I needed to know more to understand why he was calling certain people out,
Right.
And having better versus a little worse, you know.
Right.
But we also talked about, like, knowing your kids in that episode, and I think that Jacob knew his children and was able to provide such foresight because of things that had happened or he knew were going to happen. And that's why I think they were real blessings, because if, for example, with Simeon and Levi, if you know that they're not good together, so we have to separate them. It's certain things that are for the greater good. They did a lot of that. They did a lot of killings for their sister, together. So Jacob split them up. Now I think as we were going through, I already knew. I figured that Judah was gonna get something good, but I knew Joseph was gonna get a blessing.
Yeah.
I feel like we all knew that. And it's through all that it was refreshing with all that he had been through up until that point. With everybody else, like, we hadn't really, before we got the lineage, what was that, 40, 47, 48?
Yeah, somewhere around there. 46.
We got all
46,
the
I think.
Yeah. Before then, we didn't, like, and I think I had mentioned in one of the episodes prior to that, they're like, Dad, we don't know all the other kids, like, all the in-betweens. We don't get their names. They just say they. They say they a lot. Like, they talk together. And we got to see the breakdown, which allowed me to go back and read up a little bit about what the tribe's end result was. Like, was this a prosperous tribe? Did they kind of, like, fade out? Were they, like, tyrants? You know,
Right.
like, what came of them? And that helped me a little bit in my mind kind of shape who the son was in Jacob's eyes.
Okay.
So that was helpful. And then you had, like, the sons that got, like, one thing.
Yeah.
That was like, maybe they just fell in the midst. You know, like your middle children who sometimes just get smushed in the middle. That's kind of what that gave me. Like, y'all just get, like, the dough on your
But then have beautiful fonts.
Okay, but you got a whole paragraph of stuff for Judah and a whole paragraph of stuff for Joseph. It's like, y'all were just, here y'all go. Okay, this is what, hopefully this appeases you, and, like, this is what your future will look like. But it was not nearly as plentiful as the rest.
It's all right. The one that had the really good food, everybody's gonna be going there.
I would be satisfied.
Yeah.
But
So, I get it. I get it. Yep. I had a lot of the same. Jacob blesses each of his sons, whether you want to call them blessings or cursings.
Mhm.
And also that the blessings were fitting for him.
Mhm.
And lastly, that Jacob puts his feet in his bed. Makes me think of Yoda. Yeah, it's like he put his feet in his bed, and that was it. 147 years.
Which is an eternity. Could you imagine living 147 years nowadays?
Whew.
Yeah. He also let them know how he wanted to be buried.
Yeah,
Yeah, very specifically this time.
yeah. He didn't just tell Joseph. He brought everybody in on the plan. That's true. That's true. All right.
Oh, one other thing with this too. He also you'll see that like he starts going out of order when it comes to the names, like birth order.
Mhm.
And I think we've concluded that it was based on mother, mostly.
Yeah.
We need to insert that little
I'll put it
video,
in, but
or not video, picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to what you sent. I mean, you sent it. You want to talk about?
I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, but I think it was based on mother. But even within the mother, it was still
There's
out
some
of
mix.
order.
Yeah, there's some mix. So we'll insert the picture so that you can kind of see. There is some rhyme or reason, but it's also not.
Yeah.
All right. Genesis 50.
Oh man.
I put the purpose. That's what this was all to get to. To get to the tribes of Israel, a nation that could grow and not succumb, to have this group of people that has been called out by God since he's picked Abram way back and called him out of the land of Ur, of the Chaldeans. So this is what it was all for. This is the cherry on top.
I'm gonna say yes and. I'm gonna say what true forgiveness looks like. And like y'all weren't privy to the conversation after the recording ended. But after I talked a lot about the guilt that the brothers had. We all have seen the guilt. They think that Joseph just has it out for them, and it just like, oh my God, he knows, y'all. We get in trouble. The Lord is punishing us, but Joseph's finally like, y'all, get over it. I'm over it. It's time. It's time, because they felt like something else was lingering. Like, you know, when you feel like the black cloud is above your head, it's following you everywhere. I think at this point it's like, I know what God had for me, and God took your evil and made it for my good. So hey, what is it? Let bygones be bygones, or whatever. Like it's what has happened has happened.
Yep.
Here we are, you know, which was good for me because it's something I needed to hear. But that stood out to me a lot in this one.
Yeah. My word would be grace. Because there was the grace to allow them to even go from Pharaoh. Then it was the grace that Joseph showed his brothers after the fact, like, hey, it is what it is. Like, he's already forgiven them. And then I think even, and this is more of a future thing, them taking what Joseph said, because he said, when at the end of all of this, I want to go back to, even though he knew he had to stay for the time being. So there was still some grace shown there for them to even remember this chapter 50. Like, Joseph wants to be out of here too.
Okay. Yeah. And one thing I didn't say that's important is the purpose, is that whole Genesis 50:20. That which you meant for evil, God meant for good, that it may save many lives. I may not have gotten it verbatim.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was an ultimate
and that's
purpose.
The grace too.
Yeah. That's what jogged my memory. Yeah. So we went through all the chapters. Which chapter stood out the most to you?
I'm gonna say 50. I learned a lot in 50.
In 50?
Like a whole lot. And not just because it's like it came to an end, but forgiveness was a big one in here. I think the other one, we have been talking about Genesis 50:20 throughout the season.
Yep.
But to see it come to the end, and like we know all that we know now, it's like, wow, truly, like you watch God's plan unfold. And when you're in like the midst of, again, I say this like all the time, when you're in the midst of stuff, you don't know the end plan. So to watch God work in the life of Joseph, that does save the lives of so many in Egypt during the famine, like all that had to happen for us to be where we are, it's like a very careful plan. It's like when I compare it to like the miracle of like surgery. Surgery is a miracle. For you, everything has to happen perfectly for you to live. It's a very carefully thought out thing that the surgeon, like God blesses their hands, and they have to do everything right for the end result to be what it is. And it's kind of like that's the plan of life. Like God puts every little piece together, every little building block is carefully placed so that the end result can be achieved. And some sacrifices have to be made along the way, but even the evil that's done to you, like all of that stuff works together for the end result to be achieved. So it just is. It's like what do we say? Hope. It's like the chapter of hope for that projects like all throughout life. It just was good for me. I learned a lot. It was helpful. It was encouraging for me. It was sad at the end, but it motivated me and taught me a lot. Brought everything to a good close. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. What about your favorite?
I think my favorite chapter is 38 with Judah and Tamar.
Really?
Because I don't like struggle, right?
Okay.
But I like that Tamar, she had to sit in it a little bit, but we didn't even talk about her sitting in it as much.
Yeah.
But that girl was coming up with something. She had a plan, and I appreciate that. I don't like the damsel in distress story all the time. Like, nah, she turned up and she got herself out of the situation.
Yeah, I think for me it was 46.
Oh.
Just because, I don't know, if I had to pick one, I'd pick 46 because to me it's the culmination of 42 through 46, which is the whole reconciling, the whole testing of Joseph, the whole seeing the actual redemption of, and then the reunion of that family.
Yeah.
So 46 stood out to me a lot. Which character stood out to you the most other than Joseph, and why?
Stood out to me the most?
Which character stood out to you the most, and why? I feel like you may have already answered.
Tamar?
Yeah, that's what
I don't know if she stood out to me the most. I like Tamar.
Okay.
I kind of want to say Jacob. Because Jacob...
I love this
Jacob, I think you said in one of the episodes, he was the most consistent.
Yeah.
He stood on I Have a Favorite.
Yeah.
He stood on I Can't Stand These Other Kids.
Yes,
he stood on like I love my grandbabies though.
Yeah.
The rest of y'all, I don't know about y'all. True. Benji, last resort. Like I'd take you if I have to, but when Joseph came back, he was like, actually, I didn't actually mean it. I didn't mean it.
Yes. Benjamin coming up to him, he's like,
no hugs for you anymore. And then Benji ended up being like when they were doing the what he's gonna be, I was like, dang, he ended up being like a fighter. Yeah. And I'm like, but I thought he was sheltered. He wasn't really. He was sheltered for the years that maybe Joseph was gone. But in the beginning and in the end, that man was fighting for himself. Like, it's just you.
Finally had to stir fry for himself.
Yeah. Oh, but Benjamin, I think, held his own too.
Yeah. He did.
But yeah, Jacob was very consistent.
Stood out to you. Okay.
I'm going to say Judah.
Really?
Because I can appreciate the change. Like the change in his character. Like I think that sometimes it takes something like that to, and I don't know 100% if I would say it humbled him. I think so though. The whole situation with Tamar, I think it took that for him to step up to be the leader that he became. And being that he wasn't even the second son or the third son, like it's like he he saw where there was lack and he filled the role, and he did it so well and without a thought. He even was willing to sacrifice himself for Benjamin. So I can appreciate the turn of events for him. I was like grossed out by him in 38,
Yeah.
truly, like, and I was really over him as a character. And then I did a little bit of reading on him, one of the books I had for my grandma, and I just was like, as a person, it's like, you know. But he displayed firstborn characteristics, and like I was reading a little bit of commentary about it, and they were saying that like what the roles are of a firstborn were kind of divided amongst the brothers, which is like, but the one piece that Judah got was leadership, and you can see that throughout the story of Joseph, and I'm not sure if you can see that in other books of the Bible. I'm curious. I would have to do some more reading to see.
Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head where you'd see that talked about for Judah in terms of leadership. So,
well, it just is interesting that like he didn't have to be told; he just did.
He just did it.
He acted because again he saw the lack and he filled the hole. And I just Reuben, you know, I would have expected that to be his thing, but he just, like his dad said, he was unstable and obviously not fit for the position.
Water.
But I can appreciate that, and it's admirable to see how he helped lead the brothers up until this point. So I think he was my favorite.
Okay,
I think he's good too because he allows people to see that you don't have to come in already being the best. Like you can grow. It's okay to change.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's kind of terrible in the beginning, but at the end, it's like, oh, okay, you changed. You actually changed. So it's hope for people who you might look at and be like,
especially because Joseph, I felt like was trying to see if there was change in his brothers, like as a whole, like trying to assess if if they're doing better now than they were doing when they sold him. And I think we're not able to see all of the brothers and what they're doing in the time between then and now. But Judah, fortunately, we are able to see his step-by-step development and his growth. So that it gave me hope. Like at least you can say that you have growth in at least one brother.
Yeah, cool. For me, it was Reuben.
What?
Because he gave me the ick.
Oh,
so he stood out to you because of that.
Yeah, I just felt like he wasn't doing all the things that he should have been doing.
True.
Just felt like if he wanted to help and do what was right for Joseph, then he should have did it. And I felt that he was really, I mean, this is really, really just a feeling, but I still can't get over the take my kids thing, right? I mean, to me, it just feels disingenuous. If anything, be like Judah and offer yourself.
Yeah.
Don't offer your kids. Why are you bringing them into it? What do they have to do with it? Right. The more I think about it, it's like, yeah. So, like I said, he gave me the ick. That's why he stood out.
Yeah.
Second to last question. How has this journey through these books informed your view on the Lord?
I've said it over and over. See, I know it by now, but like for one, I use this as ammo. So everything I've learned, I have quoted these scriptures to friends in their times. I have this has really helped me a whole lot. My friends who are going through stuff. I have a specific friend, I won't say her name, but she's going through something right now, and it feels like I feel bad for her. Like it feels like the Lord really is like boom, boom, like beating her. She's on like, I'm like, all right, she's down. Like okay, get a rest. But and she's a very strong person, and she's expressed like, hey, like I'm tired, I'm ready to give up. Like I don't know, like I'm praying, like the Lord is just this is just a lot. Yeah. And she's never really expressed that to me before. It kind of was like when when Joseph was like, all right, don't forget me, like please don't. And I was like, man, like one of the strongest people I know. And like I have two friends. It's interesting. She's also like, I don't know, I'm doubting the Lord a little bit. Like life is just getting hard. I'm like, hey, the Lord has a master plan, okay? And I trust the Lord a lot more now, I think, because I have a lot, like I said, it's my ammo. I think about this story like everything's working together for my good. Like, hold on, now you're what you're doing to me. I know is going to work out positively for me because I'm going to trust, or even if it's a negative outcome, I know there's a positive end result because I know the Lord is watching out for me. So I'm not angered by those kind of situations, and it doesn't stir me up and make me doubt the Lord. That's why I was telling my friend, like, girl, hold on, that's the devil, because the Lord means well. You can't see it right now because you're sitting in this situation. Sometimes it's fine. It's you need to sit in it. Joseph sat in it for years and years and years and years. And if he can do it, shoot, with patience, we have to take a step back and recognize, like, who are we to doubt the Lord and all that He has planned for us? There's a greater. It's bigger than you. Like, it's greater than just this situation you're in. And it sucks in the moment. It sucks. But this Joseph's story is a story of hope and a story of, like, how you need to have faith. So I try to use that to help motivate people because it is just it's inspirational, and I think it can be a story of hope for many people.
Cool.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah.
I be feeling like wrap it up.
Like,
that sounds good to me. I think similarly, Joseph has come up a lot in conversations for me because I feel like I'm seeing things from these chapters. I don't want to say translate, but like my husband, whenever I'm talking to my husband, I'll be like, "Oh, in that episode we said this," and he'll be like, "He hasn't caught up." And I'm like, "Bro, you need to." And then he'll be like, "Well, you could just tell me now." I'm like, no, go watch it because it was good when we said it, and I remember it. Like, I was like, "Oh, so Chris might have said this, or Jasmine said this, or like there's a lot that we have said and discussed that has come up," and I'm like, "Go watch the episode."
Right. Oh, that's pretty dope. That's dope. I think for me, it's been and I think I mentioned it as well, right? The agents and the sovereignty. I always thought I had a really high view of the sovereignty of God. And I think I did coming into this. But realizing the personal agency of different people as we go through this and their actions that you would think could potentially thwart something going on. I sell Joseph into slavery, but Joseph is supposed to be the one bowed down to. There's something that Moses is writing about that tells us Joseph is supposed to be the guy, but why is he going this way? Because these people are doing things to him. And it's just like, yeah, even though there's personal agency, and it piggybacks on your point, Jasmine, God is still sovereign and works things out as he needs to. So there is really, truly nothing that can stop him from getting done what he wants to get done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we do that surprises him. And when we think we're surprising him, he's like, nope, I already planned for that. I knew you were going to do it. And guess what? What I want to get done is still going to get done.
Right.
So I think I just have a greater appreciation for that from here.
And don't misunderstand this. Like, just because when we say God has a plan, it doesn't mean it's going to be the one you want.
Yeah.
It's not the plan that you think should work out in your head. It might not be that job that you think that you should have. That's why my new prayer has become, and I forgot the episode where it changed. It's something you said. I think it might have been like 38 or 39. It had to be in the beginning. I'm more like, God, let your will unfold in my life. I don't know what your will is. Hopefully it's what I want. But if it's not what I want, I'm not upset. I want your will to be done so I can walk comfortably every day. Like, God's will is being done, and I am doing what He would have me do. If I'm not, Lord, redirect me. I don't care what direction it is. Like, even like, okay, transparency. Like, I just got married, but I was praying like, Lord, if this is not what's meant to be for my life, steer me in whatever direction is best for him and I. Like, I am letting go, and I think that's another big thing. Like, I have let go of the fact that I have control. I am just up in the passenger seat. God has the wheel. So, hey, I'm here. Drive me in whatever direction we're going. Hey, I'm trusting that you ain't going to steer me off of a cliff. And if you do, hopefully some padding under there, so I'm still good. But it's like, I don't know. Everything is not going to work out the way you think, but for as long as God's will is being done, it's a positive.
Yeah, I hear that. Awesome sauce. All right, last question for real this time. Did you get out of this season what you wanted to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to do a podcast with some very dope people. I got to learn a lot from some very dope people. And I don't know, this has been fun. I appreciated it.
I enjoyed the podcast a lot. I actually have watched these episodes multiple times for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I'm like, oh, that was kind of funny. Oh, that was kind of cute. Oh, that's so wise. That's such a wise thing to come out of this.
Yeah.
And I haven't been making any of the reels recently just because a lot of stuff going on. But I have still been just watching and like, oh, what is it that we should be getting out of it? And sometimes when life is happening and you don't have time to sit down and read your Bible and study the way you would want to,
right.
To have something that I can just be like, well, let me just play this and know that, I mean, it's us. So I know what we kind of said. So I know that it's not going to be something that's like against the Bible
or Bible adjacent.
Yeah.
As you were saying at the beginning.
So it's something that I can easily just go to get something. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I've become a podcast or like I'll listen to an audiobook. It's very difficult for me these days to sit and read or really study. And then when it's time for me to study to prepare for this, I'm like, okay, I have to dedicate the time to do it.
Yep.
So, but then like everybody in the house is going to understand, leave mommy alone. Like she's trying to study, but I can only do that so much before because kids are kids and our kids are young. So I could try to do it when I'm about to go to sleep, but then I'm going to be dozing. So I try to just make the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in the beginning I was like, and I expressed to you guys like, hey, I'm a baby Christian. Like I'm learning. So this is a learning experience. I might not always have something wise to say about it. I'm reading it and understanding as y'all explain it to me, really, a lot of times. But I feel like I gained a lot of confidence in what I know, what I knew. And then as we read, like, I understand better. Because there has been times in the episodes where I was like, I would say something, and then they would help me break down. I'm like, oh, got you. Okay, so I didn't get that at first, but I got it now. You know, for as long as I was learning, I was willing to keep up. Because at first I was like, I don't know about this. You know, I'm far less experienced in the Bible. And I'm trying to start studying more. And that's what this has forced me to do. Yep. So, mission accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If there's something that's going to keep you studying,
this will.
Yeah,
you have to. Because
to.
what you don't want to do is be like, I ain't really got much to say today.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of us because I don't think any of us came in without being totally unprepared. So,
yeah. Like I said, even sometimes if I can't study as much, because there was a day I came in here, I was like, I don't have any notes. But I had listened to, like, I've listened to people just read. Like, you know, you can go and listen to somebody read the Bible. Yep. So I'll just listen to the chapter over and over and be like, something will stick, hopefully, because when we record and then y'all start talking, I'm like, oh, actually, I heard this and this. So it all works out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, folks, that's it.
Oh, this was a long episode.
One season in the bag. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Me too.
We got to figure out what we're going to do. But until then, we're Generational Scriptures.
Yes.
And we are out of here.
Bye.
Deuces.